In Turkey, our foreign minister gave a call to share his concerns, and we focused on preparing the decision of the General Assembly that passed this night. That was owing to the Turkish side and involvement. We managed to involve some additional countries, so the Turkey participated a lot, was really involved. We had lots of media coverage of all of the details in Turkish media environment, what happened, what kind of attacks were, how barbaric they were. Our campaign that we launched was supported by the Turkish society. Of course, we didn't have really harsh announcements, but that's related to the Turkish attempts to continue the work in what we're focusing on. This is the grain corridor and liberation of our prisoners of war. That is why we didn't have any harsh announcements, but we had really serious reaction on behalf of the society. Let's discuss the negotiation role of Turkey. We saw the signals of the Turkish government that they'd like to organize the negotiations to take on more roles. Why is it so important for Erdogan and Turkey? First of all, this is their standard policy and strategy from the very beginning of a war, and the attempts to bring together Ukraine, the aggressor country, and unite them at one negotiation table. We had these attempts from the very beginning. We had some success in March, then initiatives on the grain corridor and prisoners of war liberation, maybe some other topics that we can't share publicly right now, but this is Turkish policy which hasn't joined to the imposing sanctions on Russia and tries to support a kind of cooperation today. We'll see if the Erdogan's meetings with who cannot be named will happen. Maybe they will discuss some initiatives that were preliminary announced by the Turkish side. As we know, Mr. Kalim, the spokesperson of the President Erdogan, voiced two main things. The first is that every negotiation process should ensure territorial integrity of Ukraine, and the second is the idea of possibility to conduct negotiations not only among Ukraine and Russia, but also Russia and the Western countries. That's a new topic. As far as I understood, that's the possibility to scale the mediator's role into negotiation with the West. We saw the clear answer from the U.S. that related to the barbaric actions of the aggressor. There is nothing to discuss, but I think that the Turkish side will try to see some possible connection points to continue the mediator's role. That's also reflected in their inside policy related to the preparation to elections. More than 80% of our local population think that Turkey should stay a distance from both sides of conflicts and be a mediator and pursue their interest as a mediator. That's why all of the actions are taken and different measures are taken in order to achieve these results. We also have some announcements by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Turkey that Turkey stays committed to supporting Ukraine politically, providing humanitarian aid, weapons, and supporting Ukraine in international organizations, and plays a role as a mediator only in some specific areas, and also upon address and request by Ukraine. What results do you expect from today's meeting in these initiatives? First of all, this is the most important story about the grain corridor that's also beneficial to Turkey. In a month, the agreement, the duration will end. So we already heard and saw the attempts of the aggressor country to pressure everybody, saying that this agreement, this document is not beneficial to the African countries, so on and so forth. This is clear manipulation because the grains that come into Turkey, this grain is being processed and gets sent further on to the African continent and so on and so forth. So that's the main goal. We do not know what the aggressor country is going to stand on and what will be their position, but also that's also scaling the negotiation platform and to involve the Western countries. Our main goal is that nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine, and Turkey accepts that. And the other principle is that there will be no negotiations with Putin on our behalf, and our conditions are clear: is that all of the military men and the Russian army should be out of Ukraine. Are there any news or considerations about how the grain corridor works? The grain corridor works, and the combined United Center, regardless of some technical issues, mostly caused by the Russian attempts to pause or obstruct this process, or to obstruct the access to journalists, but on average 8 to 13 ships go from the Ukrainian ports and get access to international markets. That's important to us, and we keep to continue this trend. We also hope to negotiate in the nearest future the possibility of continuing that and improving the work of the center itself. We also discussing the possibility of scaling the goods type of what kind of goods could be exported from Ukraine. That's for the future, but these things are on the agenda. Russia indirectly blames Turkey being related to the Kerch Bridge explosions. One of the versions were that these were the Turkish organizations or inspectors that in some way helped transport the explosives by the Black Sea. Is there any reaction? No. Turkey doesn't react to that. Their reaction is very vertical structure, so nobody reacts to propaganda or gossips like that. The same is in the European countries. Also have Sputnik channels here that are trying to spread fakes. These are not supported, but the key information that was shared was that the aggressor country blames the Ukrainian side for the explosion. Our intelligence services, so that was the dominant topic in the media, and all of the attempts like of sharing fakes here do not work. The last question: what are your own personal experience of Mariupol heroes communication? That's, well, amazing. Of course, the guys do not feel comfortable enough yet because they just left the imprisonment and torture, but these people are so inspiring. They are very modest. They do not position themselves as heroes. I think that currently it's good that their families joined them. Of course, they want to go back to their teammates. They want to continue protecting Ukraine and helping the government. Right now, it's important for us to ensure their safety because we heard about the wish of extradition for them, or maybe some even attempts on their lives. So we want to ensure their safety and then bring them back. I hope for them to regain their life and service. This is Vasyl Bodnar, Ukraine's ambassador extraordinary plenipotentiary to the Republic of Turkey. Thank you, Your Excellency, for this